Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a customer vehicle. This is a 1965 Chrysler New Yorker and a list of things I need to do. Let's get into it. So first we have a throttle return spring. The original one broke and the throttle will stick open. Horn installation / circuit repair. The customer ordered new horns because the old ones would cut out and he thought it was the horn that was the problem rather than the circuit. So we're going to install those horns and then test the electrical circuit. I installed air shocks a while ago, but when it was taken to the exhaust shop, they installed them too close to the hoses and melted the air lines. Need to install a wiper fluid pump. Need to do a reseal on the AC system, as well as customer stated the vents may not be opening properly. The heat vent may be staying open on the AC setting. Cigarette charger, 12 volt retrofit. Really, I think I just need to make sure those work, and then those should work with 12 volts, no problem. Relocate the dimmer switch. When I installed the carpet the first time, the customer and I decided to put the switch here because there is a formed bulge, but then he got floor mats and they do not fit, so I need to patch this hole best I can, fill it up, make it look like it's not going to be visible, and then move the switch to the original position. That's going to be one of the main time-consuming ones. And then diagnose and repair front end shake during braking. I did a front end brake job on this thing. It needed new drums. I did new drums, new shoes, wheel cylinders, brake lines. So I'm not sure what the shake is going to be, but we're going to get it off the ground. We're going to put it on all four jack stands, get all four wheels off so that I can get to the hoses and to the front brakes. But I think we're going to start simple with horn installation and wiper fluid pump, and maybe get to the AC reseal, because it's all things I can do in the engine bay. Let's get to it. This vehicle I consider to be a true survivor. The air cleaner is in the back, but look at this engine bay. It is just beautiful. Paint on the wheel houses. Never been undone since it left the factory. None of these bolts have been touched, minus that, which I also installed. It's beautiful. It's the way it was from 1965 all throughout the car. I mean, the interior is fantastic. Only thing that's been done to this interior is I redid the carpet. But yeah, the speedometer or the odometer shows 60,000 miles, but it doesn't turn. It doesn't work right now, so I bet it's closer to 75,000. So this thing is an absolute survivor. It is an amazing car, and it just drives like it's brand new. As you can see, it's 100 degrees in the shade. My phone keeps overheating, so gotta cool off. I'm gonna get back to the New Yorker. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to clean up the grounds on the body and on the horns. I'm gonna plug them in, and then we're gonna test the circuit and trace if there's still a bad connection, we're gonna trace the connection back to the steering wheel button. Let's do that real quick. Okay, so now with the horn in, we're gonna try out the button here. Nada. Okay, so after 45 minutes, this is kind of a half check. We're gonna go up because I've done so much. I've installed the horns. I redid these contacts. I mean, I just tightened them up so that they make a snugger connection on the end here. Same with this one down here. I really made sure those are tight. I cleaned up all the places they mount, even though it was all painted, but I cleaned up those bolts and the bolts where those go into the paint. And then I took the whole horn off. I had everything apart. This was all off. I took apart this whole mechanism and I took it apart. I wire brushed all the metal contacts here, and I put dielectric grease on everything, and it makes good contact. But those horns aren't right. One of them isn't going. And so I don't know. I'm pretty stumped. I kept tracing the contacts, and so I went to the horn relay here and I took these contacts out and I redid them. I just tightened them up. All of these, I tightened them up so they make a firmer connection. And then I made sure the battery cables are tight. Those are plenty tight. That's a good ground. It might need a stronger body ground, which maybe I'll add a body ground to it and see if that helps. But all the connections are good. So for now, we're going to call that a mystery. Maybe come back to it with a body ground and see what happens. But yeah, let's move on to the next part, which is going to be the wiper fluid pump install. Let's go. So that wiper nozzle I was able to clear up, but this one is extremely clogged and I cannot seem to get it to unclog. Also, I'm not sure what the deal is, but when I jump this motor with this little wire to the positive and it's grounded, works fine. Pretty noisy, but it sounds like it should. But when I have it hooked to the proper part on the car, the actual clip, it was working, and then all of a sudden it stopped working. There it goes. Now it's working fine from the actual car button, but a while ago I'd press the button and then it just stopped. So there could end up being something wrong with that button, but probably something fixable. I could just take it apart and clean it up, but it's working. Works pretty good, but only on this side. The passenger side gets nothing. Okay, so off camera, I removed this tank. I installed this pump and got it in there, got all the hoses in, got this hose routed up there to the T-block, hooked up to the sprayers, and that sprayer is too clogged to function, but there goes that one. Works pretty decent. I mean, it's pretty crappy because it's very old wiper technology, but it works. So I told this to the customer that the other one isn't working, and I think we may go ahead and get some sort of aftermarket type that just will pop through these grates, and I can screw them, tighten them in from the bottom, and it'll be like a more modern spray pattern, and it'll get all over the window and solve the problem of that one. I also told him he could probably get replacements of these, but those would be hard to find. Next up, which is something I did not have on the list, is wiper blades. Now, since this is a Mopar, and Mopar likes to make everything difficult, these are only inserts rather than the entire blade. So, I'm gonna quick slap these new inserts in and be done with that. Although these look way too long. Whatever. So I don't have a tripod or anything, but this is pretty easy. Basically, there's just a little clip here. You pinch it, the blade insert slides out. And then from here, you pull the clip end out of this little metal rail. So that little clip slides in there on the same gap line as the little metal rod insert. And then you just pull that little metal rod out of the old insert, just like this. Get rid of that rod, and then I'm gonna take the new insert, install it in the rod, and then trim it to length, put that clip back on, and then throw it back in the car. Now I've got the blade and the insert. I'm just gonna trim it right here. Now it's trimmed, bring it up, put the clip in it on the same row that the insert goes in. put the clip in like this, and it should pop on over the insert, and then reinstall the blade the way it came out, and that will clip into the wiper arm and hold this in place. Boom, in there. Okay, slowly but steadily, wiper fluid pump install. Took a long time. I don't have a throttle spring to replace the existing one, although I did bend the old one up into working. We're gonna call that horn circuit good for now. I'll come back to it. I'm gonna get the car up on all fours, and we're gonna get to the air shock lines, and maybe do the AC, some gaskets. I have a set of O-rings that we need to do. Maybe I'll get to that as well. And then we'll check some voltage on the chargers. And these are gonna be another video. The front end shake and doing the carpet up, that's gonna suck. For now, let's get to the shock lines, AC reseal, and check the power on the cigarette chargers. Just can't get enough of this car. It's so beautiful. Okay, so I've got the car up on the rears. I had it up on all fours, but where I put the jack stands didn't look so good. Frame started kind of bending in a little bit, and the car was looking like a Flexo-Lite fan. The whole front end dropped, and the cab didn't go anywhere. This gap went, whoa. Not really, it didn't do it that dramatically, but it really did. It was freaking me out. This door gap was screaming, still is. But yeah, for now we're just gonna work on, I gotta get a bunch of stuff out of this trunk so I can get to these air lines, and then we're gonna pull the old ones out and reroute the new ones. Okay, so I've got the new air shock Schrader valve hooked up. The lines run down here, straight to the back, into this grommet, which I sealed up. I did that all off camera. Now I'm gonna put this put this carpet back and get underneath and trim those lines and hook them up to the shocks. So now, under the car, I'm gonna take these lines. I do not think it matters which is which. Just gonna take the one that comes out to the right, bring it to the right one. Just gonna bring it right up to it. Get a pretty approximate length for it. Somewhere where it's not too taut, not too tight, where it'll be, won't have enough slack for suspension travel. Actually, it doesn't matter because this is the solid end of the, oh, wait, no, it's not. They both move. Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna make sure this has enough slack to move up and down with the suspension. And then I'm just going to trim it off, just like that. Snipped it off with a little flat blade. I'm gonna do the same thing the other side. Bring this hose over, make sure it's got plenty of slack in it. And then just line it up, snip it. All right, now I'm gonna take the end of this, and I'm going to put one of these little crush doodads on, and then two of these little O-rings. Oops, take that back. First, I'm going to put the cap, the screw cap on, and then I will put the little compression fitting on and the two O-rings. And then I'm going to put this whole assembly into the little hole here on the tube, on the shock, and tighten it down. Doesn't need to be too terribly tight, I think. Uh-oh. Oops. I think that one's still got one of the O-rings in it. Yep, it does. Let me go get a pick and then pick that one out. I'll be right back. There's a Mustang here. Okay, well, air shocks are in and aired up. They seem to be holding air. So I'm gonna clean up. Sun's going down, I'm gonna do some fishing. And that's gonna be all for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.